Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. We are from Group 5. Inshallah, today we will present the Good Manufacturing Practice or the GMP, and we will cover 5 subtopics from the GMP, which are: the first one is personal hygiene, the second one is transportation and distribution, the third one is product information, fourth is training, and the last one is internal inspection. Okay, before we proceed with our presentation today, I would like to introduce myself and my other group member. My name is Muhammad Hanan bin Hanafi. The next presenter is Nur Hanani binti Muhammad Yunus. The third one is Nur Alia Taslim binti Cik Mam Azman. The fourth is Ifah Aliyah binti Husrin. And the last one is Filza Nasuha binti Adnan. The first subtopic, which is the personal hygiene in the GMP. Okay, the objective of the personal hygiene in the GMP is to ensure that those who come directly or indirectly into contact with food are not likely to contaminate food by maintaining an appropriate degree of personal cleanliness. And the second one is behaving and operating in an appropriate manner. Okay, next, the health status. People known or to be suspected to be suffering from a disease or illness that likely to be transmitted through food shall not be allowed to enter any food handling area. They need to refer and consult the registered medical practitioner and conduct a medical examination and vaccinated themselves. Next, illness and injuries. Illness and injuries such as jaundice, diarrhea, vomiting, fever, and so on, they need to be excluded from any food handling area. Next is the personal cleanliness. The first one is the worker need to wash hands thoroughly before starting work, especially after using the toilet. And they need to follow the 7 steps of the hand washing in order to make sure their hand is really clean. The second one is maintain adequate personal cleanliness such as short and clean fingernails. We know that our skin, especially our fingernails, is one of the source microorganism and bacteria that can be found in our skin, under our skin. Okay, the third one is remove all jewelry and other objects that might fall into food, equipment or containers. Okay, all the jewelry such as the watch, the rings, the bracelet or the necklace must be taken off temporarily during the food handling process. Next is wear hairnets, headbands, caps, beard covers or other effective restraints, okay, in order to avoid any hair fall into the food product during the food handling process. Next, maintain gloves if they use in food handling in an intact, clean and sanitary condition, because we know that we cannot done any works, especially in the food handling process, with our bare hands. Okay, because our bare hand is easily contaminated with other microorganisms, and through our hand it might can be transmitted to the food. Next, remove protective clothing, for example the head cover and apron, before visiting the toilet. Next, people engaged in food handling activities should refrain from any behavior which could result in contamination, such as smoking, spitting, chewing or eating, sneezing or coughing over unprotected food. And the last one is visitors who is visiting the food manufacturing, processing and handling area should wear protective clothing and adhere to other personal hygiene provisions.
Okay, we're moving on to transportation. The objectives are: first, protect food from potential sources of contamination. Second is protect from damage likely to render the food unsuitable for consumption. And lastly, the objectives are provide an environment which effectively controls the growth of pathogenic or spoilage microorganisms. Okay, next, the rationale is food may become contaminated or may not reach its destination in a suitable condition for consumption unless effective control measures are taken during transport, even where adequate hygiene control measures have been taken earlier in the food chain. Okay, next we go to the requirements of transportation in the GMP. First, do not contaminate foods or packaging. Second is, can be effectively cleaned and where necessary disinfected. Third is, permit effective separation of different foods or foods from non-food items where foods from necessary during transport. Next is, provide effective protection from pest infestation and other contamination including dust and fumes. Next, 5 is, can effectively maintain the temperature, humidity, atmosphere and other conditions necessary to protect food from harmful or undesirable microbial growth. Production of toxin and deterioration likely to render food unsuitable for consumption. And lastly, the requirement is allow any necessary temperature, humidity and other conditions to be checked. Okay, we go to next slide related to user and maintenance. First, conveyances and containers for transportation food should be kept in an appropriate state of cleanliness, repair and condition. Where the same conveyance or container is used for transportation, different foods or non-foods, effective cleaning and where necessary, inspection should take place between loads. And second point is where appropriate, particularly in bulk transport, containers and conveyances should be designated and marked for food use only and used only for that purpose.
Product information is a major concern in food or product production since it provides an accurate and adequate information to the next person in production chain. For example, net weight, nutrition, ingredient list and product name. By having product information, it is important to guarantee and assurance the product is handled, processed, prepared, stored and displayed in an appropriate manner. Additionally, by having product information such as lot or batch number identification, it's easily to identify and record the product if necessary. Manufacturer or producer should bear in their mind that product information should be complied to the food labelling requirement in Malaysia. Food labelling requirement in Malaysia consists of 16 requirements, which are all labels shall be durably marked, language to be used for information, important particulars expected to be on the label including allergen, date marking, storage condition and so on. You may refer to food labelling requirement in Malaysia for further information and detailed explanation. Lot and batch number is known as a mark of identification, usually generated by the manufacturer, which allows a small sample of product to be uniquely identified. Meanwhile, a batch number may relate to the date of production, the source of raw materials, or the machine used to process the food. In the concept of identification and traceability of product, it is important to have it as it allows to trace the company's product from end to end or throughout each step in the process. For instance, mechanism for recall to remove product from the market when necessary. Let's say if there is an issue of contamination throughout the end product, so lot or batch number is worked as mark identification to easily identify and analyze which lot or batch that involved in the contamination or at which step of processing the contamination is occurred for further information. So this is how product recall process is worked, as you may see on the picture attached on the slide.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. before earlier I've been to the same. So today I'm gonna proceed with another stage, which is under training. They have an objective to ensure those engaged in the food operation that are related who come directly or indirectly into the contact with the food that are properly trained and instructed in the food hygiene to add level appropriate to the operation. So they are able to perform at the processing area with perfectly. And then it's about the rationale of training. So training fundamentally important for the implementation and maintenance of GMP itself. So the training and the instruction of the all people involved in food related activities actually have a potential threat to the safety of food and suitability for the consumption of consumers. Next, for the next slide is about the awareness and responsibility of the training. So the all personnel should be aware of the rules and responsibility itself, like ensure and protecting the food from the contamination or deterioration. So that the food handler should have the necessary knowledge and skill to enable them to handle the strong cleaning chemicals or another potential hazardous chemical that should be instructed in a safe handling technique. So the next slide is about the training program. There are several points, which is like first, the establishment should be prepared a training plan. The identifying the needs for training, which is essential for the implementation and maintenance of GMP. So the need for the training shall be reviewed at the appropriate. The second is about training shall be maintained at level that ensure the employees know their responsibility to ensure GMP. Like example, I can give like a program content, the competency of the trainer, the assessment of the trainees, and the establishment of the requirement of the training. The third is about the record of training should be recorded as evidence. And then the periodic assessment of the effectiveness of training and instruction program should be made, as well as routine supervision and check to ensure that the training is being carried out effectively. Third is about the managers and supervisor of the food processing, which should have be the necessary the knowledge of GMP to be able to judge the potential risk and take the necessary action to remedy deficiencies. The last is about the training programmers that should be routinely reviewed and updated where is necessary, so that the system should be in a place to ensure that food handler remain aware of all procedures necessary to maintain the safety and suitability of food.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Filzana Suha binti Adnan. We continue to internal inspection. First is self-inspection. So, self-inspection of all the plant facilities and processing lines shall be carried out periodically to ensure the adequacy and effectiveness of its food safety by appointed personnel. So the self-inspection is very important to ensure the adequacy and the effectiveness of the GMP in the company. Okay, next we move to internal audit. An internal audit shall be planned and conducted at least once a year by independent personnel designated by the management. Auditors shall not audit their own work, so such audit should be extended to suppliers and contractors. And corrective actions shall be taken without undue delay on any non-conformances found and closed out once satisfactory action has been taken. So kena ambil tindakan cepat kalau kena corrective action. Okay, next is activities and findings of the internal audit shall be recorded. Everything that aktiviti yang dijalankan ke ataupun apa yang kita jumpa dekat dalam company tu masa audit, kita kena record. Next is management review. So the company managements and with executive responsibilities shall review the continuing suitability and effectiveness of the GMP at defined intervals to fulfill the requirements of customers, authorities, and to satisfy company GMP requirement. So the management review is very important to make sure that the company is follow the GMP requirement. Okay, last but not least is legal requirements. So the system shall in other aspect comply with legislation, including other relevant requirements currently in force in Malaysia. So that's all from us. Thank you.